So since NFL season is right around the corner, it got us thinking, what are our major storylines for this upcoming season? Evan, what do you have?
All right. Do you want me to run through all of mine, or do you want to take it one at a time?
Uh, we could do one at a time.
Okay, we'll go one at a time. So this is I'm gonna go in order of, build up some suspense. I'll save my biggest one for last, but this is number four, and I think this is one I don't know if people are thinking about a lot, but once I say it, will sort of pop up. But is Joe Burrow actually an elite quarterback? Now, Joe Burrow's, you can say he's a top five quarterback. You could say he's been a top 10 quarterback since he's been drafted. But is he actually elite? Is he on the level of, like, I would call Allen, I would call Mahomes. I guess you got to call Lamar because he got two MVPs. I have some questions about him as a thrower, but those are the elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And does Joe Burrow actually belong in that discussion? He had the run in 2021 where they went to the Super Bowl. He had the great statistical season last year where he threw over I believe 43 touchdowns. Um, and those are good individual performances, but to be elite, you got to do it season after season. And people will excuse the defense. Well, the defense for the Bengals will probably defenses in the NFL don't stay the same year to year, so you can't just blame the defense again this year if they don't go further. Obviously, that was a big part of last season, but yeah, I think this is going to be a big prove it season for Joe Burrow. I know some people definitely already think he's elite. I think he needs to string together one more really elite season for me to be considered. So I'm definitely gonna be watching that one this season. Is Joe Burrow elite?
It's actually funny because I actually had the same exact, one of the exact same storylines. So Evan just hit everything on the head. Uh, exactly what I was about to say. 2021, you had the Super Bowl year with them going. Unfortunately, they fell a little bit short. Great statistical year last year. Just basically everything Evan said. I totally agree with. Jake?
Yeah, one of the biggest storylines is I have for the Miami Dolphins actually. Not that Tua is a terrible quarterback because when he stays on the field, he is a good quarterback. But I mean, me as a Dolphins fan, I'm really high on Quinn Ewers, so I will say, and this might be overreacting, might be people might not want to hear this. Quinn Ewers starts by week 7.
Yeah, no, that would be surprising. I knew you were probably going Dolphins right away, but yeah, I will continue with my second one, but that would be big, and how Tua does matters too. But I'm gonna go for my second one. How do the Chiefs look this year after not being Super Bowl champions? Because the last two seasons, it's been like, all focuses on Kansas City. Are they gonna run it back again? There's no running it back. They got demolished in the Super Bowl. And yes, they still made the Super Bowl. Yes, they've made the Super Bowl every year from 2019 except for one year. So like it's like this is not like unfamiliar territory, but Travis Kelce, one of your stars, he's talking about he's talking about retirement on like podcasts and stuff. Like he's got one foot out the door. He's like starring in movies and stuff. That's not like some side player. That's one of your best players in Travis Kelce. You got an aging team. Chris Jones is not getting any younger. The defense sort of got exposed. The offensive line was really bad last year. You've got, players in legal troubles. Kansas City's had a lot of problems with that. Big Red is not getting any younger. Really, the only solid, consistent you're going to have is Mahomes. Mahomes is going to be great this year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like, could this finally, and you got to think too, like, even with the Patriots dynasty, like, they had a long time like where they weren't really winning Super Bowls. Like they had 10 years with Tom Brady where they did not win a Super Bowl. Did the Chiefs go into that territory or did they just go to the Super Bowl again and they just never miss the Super Bowl? I'm going to be looking at that now that they're not defending champs, not that now that all the focus isn't on them. Are the Chiefs going to be the same still this year?
Evan must be looking at my notes because I had how did the Chiefs look too after being demolished in the Super Bowl. And then you can look at the other side, right? The Eagles. Do they look good enough to repeat? Obviously, in the NFC, you're going to have the Niners if they can stay healthy. you're gonna have maybe the Bucks have the talent. Um, the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, all those teams. Uh, the Eagles didn't lose much, didn't lose much off their team last year. So, and of course Saquon's back, which is always always gonna have them near the top. So we'll see what happens with the Eagles.
Oh yeah,
Jake,
best running back in the NFL. Sorry, Christian McCaffrey, but Saquon Barkley is taking that crown.
I don't know. As a Falcons fan, I might have an argument, but
For Bijan, he's only been in the league 2 years.
he's already he might already be two or three. Let's just be honest.
Jake, yeah, do you have what's your second one, Jake?
Yeah, so my second one, is I got actually Cam Ward, number one overall pick. He excels in Tennessee, throwing 25 touchdown passes his first year and winning NFL Rookie of the Year.
Ooh,
Which I don't think that's
I like
far
that.
off. I mean, number one overall pick, you come into the league, obviously highly touted. Um, you have wide receiver weapons. You obviously have X, who you drafted. You still have Calvin Ridley over there in Tennessee. I don't think 25 touchdowns um is a difficult beat for Cam Ward.
I like what
Evan.
you're thinking, Jake. Yeah. So for my second overall one, like the second most important one, I think you got to look at the Bears. The Bears have been winning the offseason for however knows long, but there's always been something hindering them. Like Matt Nagy wasn't a good coach, and then Matt Eberflus wasn't really a great coach. And then, Justin Fields maybe wasn't as great as they thought he was. Or like there's always been something, or the offensive line's not good. Now, like I feel like there's no excuses left. You've got Ben Johnson, who has been single-handedly one of the best play callers. He is the best play caller in the NFL right now. I will say it. And you improve the line. The Bears, ever since like Cutler, ever since I've been watching the NFL, they've never had a line. You get Drew Dahlman at center in free agency. You get Jonah Jackson, you get Joe Thuney. You've really built up the line this offseason, and that's going to help Caleb Williams a lot. You've got a good receiving core, and then obviously Caleb Williams in his second year. So I think at a minimum, I'm not saying the Bears have to like win the Super Bowl this year, but you have to be competitive for the playoffs. I think there's like if they like yes, there might still be growing pains and all that, but if the Bears do not show at least like 3 game improvement, that's a huge letdown. So that's going to be a big story. The Bears won the offseason again, but they need to actually turn it into wins. So that's what I'm really looking at.
So for me, it's the top two picks this past year in the NFL draft. Cam Ward going to Tennessee, Travis Hunter going to the Jaguars. So for me, it's going to be the NFL Rookie of the Year race between those two because those two seem to be the favorite. Um, how is each guy going to look? Obviously, you have Cam Ward. I mean, plays on one side of the ball, but Travis Hunter plays on both. So, is that going to be taken into account, or is it just going to be single-handed? Um, is it going to be based on offense or defense for Travis?
Yeah, I think I think he'll excel more on the offensive side. I really think he needs to focus on more the offensive side, even because you got quarterback and Trevor Lawrence who can obviously throw it deep. Um, and Travis Hunter's a fast runner as well. You saw that at Colorado with Sugar Sanders, launching footballs to him downfield and him taking it for touchdowns. Obviously how he won the Heisman of the Year award. So I think he'll focus more on the offensive side of the ball as his career goes on.
All right,
But yeah,
my biggest storyline of the year, pause, is it's gotta be to me, it's gotta be Shadur Sanders. And I know he may not even play a lot this year, but it's like unprecedented that this guy maybe was gonna go number one overall. Then it looked like he was going number two overall. okay, then he might be like, even draft week, they were saying he might be like a pick in like the teens, like or something. He drew up to the fifth round, and that is, and yeah, maybe he was hyped up to, because of his dad or like had too much media coverage or whatever. But like, this was still a very solid quarterback in college, and to go slide all the way to the fifth round like that is insane. The biggest storyline I think in the league this year is, can Shedeur Sanders do anything to prove NFL GMs wrong, or were they just right that this man was not destined to be anything? Because that's usually what fifth round picks are, flyers, if we're being honest. So that is my biggest storyline of the year. Can he start? Can he like have a comeback game? I know people are already getting excited about the preseason game he had. That's not enough, but that's my biggest storyline of the year. Can Shedeur just prove any of them wrong?
So my storyline is, or my biggest storyline of the NFL season is, how do the second year quarterbacks look? I don't know if you want to call Michael Penix Jr. a second year quarterback because he only played in 4 games, but Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, not well, you can't call JJ McCarthy one, but God, there's one more I'm forgetting. Jaden Daniels.
Hmm.
Um,
And Drake May.
I'm sure there are a couple more, but how do
Yeah,
they
and
look year?
Drake May.
Jaden Daniels, offensive rookie of the year last year, nearly had the Commanders in the Super Bowl. Yes, they got blown out by Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. Does Jaden bring them back there? How does all that look? And then Caleb Williams, like Evan mentioned, does he have the Bears competing for a playoff spot at least? Bo Nix, does he get Denver into the playoffs? Michael Penix Jr., does he get the Falcons close or into the playoffs? Um, are they in? Are they in MVP conversation, offensive rookie, offensive player of the year conversation, all that? So to me, it's just how do the second year quarterbacks look? Jake?
Yeah, I think obviously, when you talk about second year quarterbacks, I think the biggest one out of that is going to be obviously Bo Nix. I think he showed a lot of presence last year, especially leading the Gangster Broncos to the playoffs. I know they got blown out by the Buffalo Bills in the first round, but obviously he made a couple great throws last year, and I'm excited to see, how he improves as well. And on the other side of that, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr. I think Caleb Williams, I think that the Bears don't have a great team around him. And I think Caleb Williams will continue to be what he is, which is honestly a mediocre quarterback until the Bears build around him. Maybe once the Bears build around him, he'll definitely be something.